So I did my research on BMW, and BMW is one of the most successful luxury automobile companies that was founded in 1916 in Munich, Germany. Some of the company's main objectives include sustainability, product responsibility, and preserving resources. And it's this commitment to these goals and a strategic high level of social responsibility that gives BMW its great reputation and puts it ahead of its competitors. There are many different factors that influence the company that managers deal with on a regular basis, such as the company environment, forces of change, ethics, international business, organization, and personality. And BMW's main markets are in Germany, the United States, and China. And its main competitors include Chrysler, Daimler AG, and General Motors. BMW's task environment consists of its competitors, customers, suppliers, strategic partners, and regulatory agencies. So the company's main competitors include Chrysler, Daimler AG, Ford Motor Company, and General Motors. And BMW's customers, the company thinks of them as individuals rather than other organizations. And people who purchase BMWs vary based on the make of the automobile, but in general, they're men and women from urban areas with high incomes who seek reliability and a sense of achievement. The company receives supplies from over 100 different countries, and the company's main suppliers include Brembo, ThyssenKrupp, Borg-Warner, Erlanger, Bridgestone, and Mahle, from which it receives supplies such as brakes and steels. And BMW also has a strategic partnership with the city of Hamburg, in which BMW increases the number of their electric drive now vehicles in the city. And in return, Hamburg increases the number of charging points and parking spaces in the city. One regulatory agency that oversees the safety of BMWs is the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, and it makes sure that all BMWs fit the guidelines for safe vehicles. Some dimensions of BMW's general environment include the economy, because BMW is operating within an economic system that has seen continuous growth in recent years. And the consumers have more money in their pockets, which has likely led to increases in revenue that BMW has seen. Also, BMW, the sociocultural environment has a heavy effect on the company, largely because nowadays people are more focused on the environment, so BMW has been catering to this dimension by creating more environmentally sustainable automobiles. BMW's internal environment consists of its owners, who are Stefan Quandt, who owns 17.6% of all company shares, the estate of Joanna Quandt, who owns 16.4% of shares, and Suzanne Clatton, who owns 12.7% of shares. BMW has approximately 125,000 employees working worldwide, and their positions that they work in include automotives. About 90% of employees work there, 6% of employees work in financial services, and 2.5% work in motorcycles. Some of the core values that employees embody include responsibility, appreciation, and trust. BMW is also very committed to diversity. Some of their main beliefs include individual responsibility, differences in opinion, and sustainability. And in the company headquarters in Munich, BMW has employees of more than 50 different nationalities working there, because BMW believes that diversity is important to hear different views and to allow for greater communication in the company. One of the largest internal forces of change that BMW has seen is its new CEO, Harald Krüger, who has been CEO since 2015 and has implemented many changes in this time, such as his goal to replace Mercedes as the most successful premium brand by the year 2020, which he plans to do by increasing sales with the new introduction of the new BMW X2. Some external forces of change that BMW is faced with include the Tesla Model 3, which is very similar in its style, luxuriousness, and technology to BMW's BMW 3 Series, and is also within the same price range. So other companies creating automobiles similar to those of BMW forces BMW to continue to change their cars to find more ways to make them stand out. Another external force is the changing views of society. As stated, the environment has become increasingly important to specifically the younger segment of BMW's target market. So BMW has been changing their cars to become more fuel efficient and create more electric vehicles to fit the changing needs of their customers. The ethics are very important to BMW, and some of the individual ethics that make up the company include employees must engage in honest behavior all the time, and they're expected to respect and offer aid to other employees. And it's also expected that employees report and provide information to management that uphold the morals of the business. So any immoral information that might be going on. Some of the corporate ethics that make up the company include trust, mutual appreciation, and tolerance. And so the goal is to avoid actions that would compromise the trust of BMW's stakeholders, so it believes strongly in conducting business lawfully and treating employees fairly and with respect, which means proper working conditions and offering tools and support necessary for employees to work to the best of their ability. BMW has a code of ethics, which deals with treating others with respect and acting with integrity. Some of the core beliefs in the code of ethics include always maintaining confidentiality on sensitive matters, not succumbing to conflicts of interest, and maintaining a duty of care, not breaching from the duty of care to the company. Disciplinary action for any employees who violate this code of ethics will vary depending on the severity of the action. Unethical employees may be let go, or employees may be forced to bear personal liability in some situations. BMW has seen some ethical issues in recent years, but their ethical culture is based on their code of ethics, and the company also has an advisory committee as well as external and anonymous contacts for employees to report unethical behavior to. But recently, BMW was involved in a diesel fume test scandal in which the company founded an organization known as the European Research Group on Environment and Health in the Transport Sector, and it was found that this organization was conducting diesel exhaust tests that exposed humans and monkeys to toxic fumes. So, BMW has since fired its representative on this board of management, and they were caught in an ethical dilemma of choosing between doing what was best for the company and doing what was morally right. BMW takes social responsibility very seriously, and one such program that the company has is called Care for Water, which provides it allows employees to give back by providing water filters to people in rural areas of Thailand who don't have access to clean water. BMW also strives to provide its customers with the safest possible vehicles, and so it provides programs to teach children road safety, such as Junior Camps Russia, BMW Safety 360 program, and Be Safe, Be Smart. All have the goal of creating a generation of future drivers who are educated to cause fewer car accidents. BMW also puts its customers first, as they are one of the most important stakeholders to the company, and they're known for their excellent customer service and offering aftercare services to treat customers with fairness and provide the best possible car buying experience. BMW also maintains social responsibility through their environmental impact, and because one of their core principles is sustainability and minimizing the impact on the environment. And it does this by using materials that have a minimal impact on the environment, using resources efficiently, and disposing of vehicles in an environmentally friendly way. And employees are also required to report any hazardous substances that may have been handled improperly. The global economy has a big influence on BMW to expand and operate on multiple continents because labor is cheaper in developing nations. And because of this, BMW operates largely in China, where the economy is growing rapidly. And 50% of the company's operating profits come from China, actually. Diversity is also very important to the company, as there are employees of 118 different nationalities working together in Germany. BMW has been very successful competing in the global economy, as it operates in many different countries worldwide. It's been very successful in the United States, largely because it has 100 different models that it offers in the United States, which is approximately 10 times as many models as its competitors such as Audi, Cadillac, and Lincoln. And it's due to this that BMW was the top-selling luxury car company in the United States in 2015. The mission statement of BMW is that the BMW Group is the world's leading provider of premium products and premium services for individual mobility. And it's due to this statement that the company is known for its dedication and desire to provide the highest quality, most luxurious automobiles. A strategic and long-term goal that the company has is to increase long-term value and become the world's leading provider of premium products and premium services for mobility by 2020. And so a tactical goal that will lead to increasing value is planning to have 7 models in BMW i, the electric sub-brand of BMW that are completely electric or use a plug-in hybrid system and have fuel power. Operational or short-range goals that will help in achieving this include finding ways to construct vehicles that increase EPA-rated ratings, such as having higher capacity batteries, increasing the thickness of batteries that sit under the floor of the car. Some of the strengths of BMW include that it's in the top 3 most valuable automobile brands in the world, which results in a high level of brand recognition and its positive reputation of being a luxury car brand. It also has a very successful partnership in China, which helps on an international market, and it gives a lot of power in the Asian market, ensuring future growth. And the company also has a lot of experience with electric and hybrid cars, as it first began producing electric vehicles in 2013 and has since introduced many more electric and plug-in vehicles and is planning to produce even more. One weakness facing BMW is that it only has 3 brands, BMW, Mini, and Rolls-Royce. And also the company relies on its luxury cars for the majority of its sales, which could lead to trouble if the economy were to worsen or preferences changed. BMW's debt is also currently the highest it's ever been, due largely to investing in autonomous driving and electric vehicles. And BMW's reputation as being a very expensive brand could hurt the company because people could be put off by this and not consider their vehicles when shopping for a new car. But an opportunity for BMW to act upon is the expected rise of fuel prices in the near future, because larger vehicles are more popular with low fuel prices, and BMW has always focused more heavily on their smaller vehicles. Also, autonomous vehicles are predicted to soon become very popular, and BMW is seizing on this opportunity by investing heavily into the production of automated vehicles. Some threats that could face BMW include increasing international competition, because there's always been heavy competition in the international vehicle market, but it's becoming more of a threat as more vehicles are being produced, technology advances, and the largest markets become saturated. In 2015, there was an excess of 31 million vehicles produced globally. Also, there are more government regulations on car companies than ever before, as the government tries to reduce emissions and put restrictions on fuel, which may increase costs for BMW. According to Michael Porter, BMW's strategy is one of differentiation, because the company sets itself apart from its competition through its quality and offers only top quality vehicles, reflected in its mission statement. According to the Miles and Snow typology, BMW is a prospector organization, and it's focused heavily on innovation and growth while constantly trying to expand to new markets. And this is largely due to the company's heavy focus on autonomous and electric vehicles. BMW also has a strategy, a location efficiency strategy in China. And the company chose China to be its largest market because China has very low production costs, which allows for greater profits than if the majority of production was done in the company's home country of Germany. And BMW also uses a home replication strategy in which it replicates the same quality of luxury vehicles in every country in which it operates. It does what it takes well. It takes what it does well in Germany and doesn't make any changes globally. Some of the risks facing BMW include the economy, because as automobile sales always rise and fall drastically with the economy, which has been up and down in recent years, so it's really difficult to predict when consumers are going to have enough money in their pockets to purchase an expensive vehicle. Also, political force facing BMW is its new CEO, Harald Krüger, because he hasn't even been CEO for 3 years and has made many changes, such as hiring new employees who have different approaches, and by implementing strategic realignment and introducing the BMW X7 and X2 to boost sales. Also, government regulations also influence the company's decision-making process, because the government has been raising fuel efficiency standards, which means BMW has to make decisions on how to alter their vehicles to meet these standards, such as using lighter weight materials, as well as redesigning vehicles to be more aerodynamic and have smaller engines. BMW's organization, the departmentalization of the company is based on function departmentalization, as jobs are grouped based on the field they're in, such as engineering, IT, quality, and production. Each department has jobs that all perform similar functions, allowing for each department to have managers who are highly skilled in the tasks being performed. The company also uses location departmentalization in some instances, such as the engineering jobs are grouped together in factories in specific locations. BMW's authority distribution, it falls towards the decentralized end of the spectrum, because there's locations all over the world, and because of that, there's many different levels of management. And so there's managers at each production facility, as well as a long line of corporate managers, which allows each manager to have control over a fewer number of employees. So this means that BMW has a narrow span of management with a limited number of employees reporting to each manager. So the chart shows that the CEO is the first tier, the different managers for each department is the second tier, and some of the positions under each department are the third tier, which report to their respective department manager. BMW recently celebrated 100 years of operation, and with this milestone, the company implemented some changes, such as creating new forms of mobility and making mobility tailor-made, as well as digitally connecting the driver with the automobile and creating emission-free vehicles. These changes, BMW is currently in the implementation step of this change process, as it's in the process of designing the new vehicles to fit these goals. BMW also focuses heavily on organization development, and one such way that it does this is through team building. And at the BMW Performance Center, employees can take part in activities where they drive a car through a test track blindfolded while another employee gives directions to increase trust and cooperation. And another way that it takes part in organization development is through survey feedback through a software called Pekin, which conducts surveys on employee phones and then uses the results of the surveys to determine employee motives and to find solutions to the problems they face. BMW is heavily committed to innovation, but it's trying to implement new state-of-the-art technology in its production processes, which will help speed up production and create a more flexible production chain. The company is also implementing, it's working on creating virtual and mixed reality, which will allow for simulated city drive-thrus to test the panoramic views of a vehicle's surroundings. And this innovation is in the development phase, as it hasn't been fully created yet. Some of the most important personal contributions that an employee can make to BMW would be effort, skills, and competencies, because the reason that the employee is hired is because they're better equipped to do the job than anyone else who applied. So it's important to live up to these expectations and deliver on the promise to fulfill the job duties, because the success of the company depends on it. There's also definitely a person job fit at BMW. And if the employee put a lot of effort into their job and used their skills to the best of their ability, a good person job fit would be if they offered more promotions and career opportunities. The most important inducement that BMW could offer is pay, because salary is the reason you're working there, and an employee should expect a good salary that would support them and make working there worth their time. So when I took the Myers-Briggs test, I was pretty surprised that I was low on the openness scale, because I like to think of myself as always wanting to try new things. But I think the reason why I'm so low on this is because I'm pretty traditional and down to earth. And I fell very high on conscientiousness, because I'm a really efficient worker and I'm well organized and I make to-do lists and I have to stick to a schedule. But I'm not surprised that I fell low on the extroversion scale, because I get really nervous when talking to people and I like to spend time alone. And I'm very reserved and formal and serious and quiet. I'm somewhat agreeable, and the reason why I'm not more so is that I'm not the most empathetic person, but I am very trusting of others and am modest and sincere, which makes me more agreeable. Also, my emotional stability is pretty average, because I can get stressed out about things and get anxious in certain situations, specifically social situations, but I am very calm and down to earth and don't like to let problems bother me. There are other personality traits besides the big five stated, such as locus of control, which is the degree to which people believe that their behavior affects what happens to them in the workplace. And people with an internal locus of control believe their actions determine what happens to them. So people with an internal locus of control will work harder because they think it'll pay off. And self-efficacy is a person's belief in their abilities to carry out a task. So people who are unconfident in their abilities and don't think they can do their job well, they will perform worse because they won't go the extra mile, really. And authoritarianism is the degree to which a person believes in differences of power and status in an organization. So an authoritarian worker is more likely to take orders and follow the directions while less authoritarian workers may argue more with their boss and cause conflict. And then Machiavellianism is a trait where people seek power by controlling other behaviors. So a Machiavellian employee or manager will put themselves before the company, and they may lie to reach their own goals and wouldn't be afraid to manipulate other employees. And self-esteem is whether or not a person believes they're worthy and deserving. So people with high self-esteem are confident and will seek to move up in their career and will promote themselves more, and they'll fight for promotions or better pay more. Risk propensity describes whether employees are willing to take risks. So risk propensity influences a company because a manager with a high risk propensity will think of new and innovative ideas and will be more willing to take the company in a different direction in the hope of creating something new and great. Another component that influences individual behavior is attitudes, or the beliefs and opinions people have. 3 components of attitudes are the affective component, which describes a person's feelings towards the situation, the cognitive component, which comes from the knowledge a person has about the situation, and the intentional component, or how the person expects to behave in the situation. So if there's a new employee at work who heard that the manager is awful and mean to employees, they might say they don't like the manager, which would be the affective component. And then if the manager makes an unfriendly comment to the employee, they might say the manager is the worst they've ever had, which would be the cognitive component. And then the intentional component would be if the employee is cold and unfriendly back to the manager. BMW's operations controls. The company controls its inputs by making sure that it has suppliers that provide the company with the best parts and have the same values and beliefs. So the company has a group supplier sustainability standard where it analyzes sustainability risks through a risk management process, and it trains employees and suppliers to use resources efficiently. The company oversees the transformation process where inputs are transformed into outputs through an automated robot inspection cell which checks for quality. And this 24-hour cell it inspects sheet metal components, and this increases production rates because it's more accurate due to the fact that it's automated. And finally, BMW controls its outputs by checking the quality of all the vehicles after production before they're sold. And it performs quality checks, accident and body checks, undercarriage checks, electrical systems checks, mechanical checks, and road tests. The company's financial controls. The financial resources are controlled primarily through the internal controls analyst, and this person is responsible for making sure that the internal controls relate to financial reporting are properly designed and are effective, and this person also makes sure there's current financial documents and it communicates with auditors. So overall, there's many different factors that influence BMW and its level of success, and some of the ways it has set itself apart are through the high level of social responsibility and commitment to using the company to better the lives of others, as well as through its unique innovation methods and dedication to electric and autonomous vehicles, and the emphasis on change not only through innovation but re-engineering and organization development keeps BMW moving forward. The employees are at the heart of the business, and all workers collaborate to work towards the company's goals, which is due largely to the positive personality traits and attitudes that all employees share. And BMW is organized in a way in which employees are specialized and departmentalized based on job function, so that the company can work in the most efficient and effective way possible. And all of these factors come together to determine the way BMW operates. And with knowledge of these factors, BMW uses them to their advantage to increase their overall level of success.